Just by the looks of it, the New Orleans Pelicans are set up to be a team with one of the brightest futures in the NBA. Of course, when talking about this team, most people would be inclined to look into the next 3, 4, or 5 years to be able to see how good they can become just by looking at their stockpiles of draft picks over the next 6 years. But with the Pels management's decision to hire Stan Van Gundy, I think the team's winning trajectory and outlook just changes drastically. And I don't think it would be a reach to say that they can be a playoff team right now if everything falls into place. Well, it all starts with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson as they're the clear-cut superstars of this team. But of course, all of that depends on how Van Gundy can bring the best out of them. So the question right now is, are the Pelicans ready to take the big leap this season with their young core for them to quicken their winning trajectory? Can Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram become all-NBA team guys who could lead the Pels to the playoffs? And is Lonzo Ball also gonna be part of the Pelicans' long-term future? So what's good guys, it's Jrue Balls here, and in this video, we'll take a look at why the future could possibly be now for the Pelicans. Let's get to it. Throughout this season, people will definitely need to take a look into Lonzo Ball's situation to understand the Pelicans' future. While he didn't get the rookie extension which a lot of people expected him to have, despite his point guard contemporaries like Markelle Fultz and Derrick White already securing long-term deals. While this isn't a new move for the Pelicans, they've also waited for Brandon Ingram's contract to expire before they handed him a max extension. But if you look at it, that was kind of understandable. Ingram was fresh off a surgery related to a clotting issue, so the Pels probably had to take a look at his game first before determining how they could proceed with him. And he sure played well during his first season in New Orleans, making his first All-Star game and becoming the team's go-to offensive threat. And so I think this is the same thing they're doing with Lonzo right now. I think they're kinda gauging him to see if he's worth the max money. Well, the guy improved his 3-point shooting and had a positive impact overall last season, and I think if he maintains such kind of play, then I think it shouldn't be hard to pay him $20 million a year. But if Lonzo plays even at a near all-star level, then I think he deserves a real max contract. Well, however it turns out this season, the Pels have a few guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker and even Kira Lewis who could be a possible insurance if Lonzo leaves, even though those guys have yet to prove their worth. Ultimately, Lonzo is going to be assessed based on how we can further elevate Zion Williamson's game throughout this course of a full season, and based on their results when they shared the floor last season, you can say that they're having a good start. Well, there's no other guy who shared the floor with Zion last season more than Lonzo, and there's actually a reason for that. Well, during the times when they shared the floor together, the Pels had a plus 14 net rating. Before Zion made his Pels debut, Lonzo shot 36% from deep and 34% from the field. But upon Zion's arrival, Ball's efficiency skyrocketed to 42% from deep while shooting 45% overall. Zion's inside presence just opened up more shots for Lonzo basically. And so, based on early indications, these two guys will have to share the floor more often than not if the Pels are going to win more games. I think the basic explanation here is that they have been really good together because one guy is programmed to pass while the other is programmed to score. They just play off each other's strengths basically. With Zion on the floor, Lonzo's assist numbers increased by at least 2%, and considering how Zion loves to run the fast break, you can just expect Lonzo to utilize more of his tremendous open court passing ability moving forward. Last season, Lonzo Ball threw the 5th most open court passes in the entire NBA, and out of all the guys who threw at least 1,000 open floor passes, Lonzo actually registered the 4th best accuracy rate in the NBA. And with those numbers, you'll understand how Zion's agility and Lonzo's passing proficiency will help elevate the Pels moving forward. And I think barring any major decrease in production, all signs point to Lonzo Ball being the Pelicans' point guard of the future. We'll just have to wait next offseason for him to secure the bag. But of course, there's more to Zion's game than just him being dependent on Lonzo's passing, and realistically, how great he could become in the future depends on how he can stay healthy. While last season, even as he only played 24 games, the guy showed that he is already a force in the NBA. He averaged 22.5 points while shooting a highly efficient 58% from the field. And considering that sophomore players usually enjoy statistical jumps, I expect Zion's numbers to improve as well. And I think that if he's able to average at least 25 points per game, I think he can even make the All-NBA team. But of course, that would depend on two factors I think. First is his health condition, and second is the Pelicans being at least an above 500 win team. But can Zion really stay healthy for a full season? Well, the Pelicans most likely have already put a great staff solely dedicated to monitoring Zion's conditioning throughout the year, and I think it's safe to assume that they already know how to at least put him in the best shape to stay healthy without compromising his style of play. And this is why I don't think the Pelicans should put Zion in the small forward position, which David Griffin has been talking about with the media prior to the start of the season. Well, I get it. Slotting Zion in at small forward would kinda lessen the possible wear and tear on his body when battling with bigger guys in the paint. But if you look at it, putting Zion in as a perimeter player will just rob him of his physical advantages, while you won't see guys who weigh 250 pounds at small forward. And when he's playing as a power forward, Zion has the speed advantage over bigger defenders. He's only 6'6", but he has the strength to power his way through the rim against other big guys because he's a total freak of nature. Last season, he used his natural strength to his advantage as he shot a ridiculous 62% rate from the restricted area, with most of his shots coming from post-ups, transitions, putbacks, and cuts. Zion is an unreal combination of strength and athletic ability. That's why he's able to catch the ball, power dribble, and dunk it within a split second. But if you slot him in as a perimeter player, you'll just take away his quickness advantage in the defensive end. You can say that he has the foot speed to guard smaller wings, but I don't think he would be able to sustain his lateral movement and defense for an entire year. Last season, Zion showed that he defends the paint better than he defends the perimeter. Opponents only scored on him 45% of the time in the paint, and that rate is virtually the same with what guys like Draymond Green and PJ Tucker allowed, with 46% and 44% respectively when defending the paint. This just means that Zion's interior defense is at par with other power forwards with comparable size to him. And further, if you put Zion at the 3, Ingram would likely have to move to shooting guard or to power forward. But Ingram can't play the 2, he still can't defend the best guards out there. He can't play power forward either, he still doesn't have the strength to hang with stronger guys in the paint. This team can't afford defensive problems anymore. They just ranked as the 19th best defense in the league last season. And also, I think playing Zion at small forward will just take away a lot of the team's spacing. Well, of course, Zion shot 42.5% from 3 last season, but he only attempted 14 shots from deep, which is a very small sample size. I think putting him beyond the arc to shoot at least 4 3-pointers a game will just be a misuse of his talents. And after all, the Pels drafted this guy number 1 overall because of his strength and athleticism when playing near the rim. So if you're the Pels, why do something that would neutralize his physical advantages? And so overall, I think that if Zion maintains his freakish ability to attack the rim, his health is able to hold up, and if he's able to show some promise with this perimeter game, then I definitely think he can average at least 25 points per game this season. And provided the Pelicans finish above 500, then he should become an All-NBA selection. Because during the past 4 seasons, every player who averaged at least 25 points on above 500 teams made the All-NBA team, with Kyrie Irving being the only exception when he narrowly missed making the cut during the Cavs' 51-win season 4 years ago. But of course, if the Pelicans are going to have a winning record, they'll have to rely on their all-star more than anyone. Brandon Ingram has already shown tremendous improvements with his game as he improved his 3-point shot from 33% the season before to 39% last season. His free throw shooting also improved significantly, skyrocketing from 68% to 85%. And that is why he was named as the NBA's most improved player. While this guy's a killer in the mid-range, but last season, Ingram took over 1/3 of all his shots from behind the arc and their results were really good. But nonetheless, I think if he's going to lead this team to more wins, he should be able to learn how to attack the basket more and draw more fouls. Well, he's already a good outside shooter, and if defenses decide to close out on him, he should be able to use his length to be able to blow by guys and fight through contact near the basket. And that's where I think he can up his game a little bit more. Well, last season, great offensive initiators like Luka Doncic, Giannis, and James Harden all attempted more than 9 free throws per game, and that's how those guys were able to score on higher percentage shots. And Ingram is an 85% free throw shooter after all. So just imagine how much more points he can put up if he chooses to attack the rim more. While Ingram is just a talented offensive player, he's just very hard to defend because he can just almost shoot over anyone with his length. But if he becomes a better playmaker, which he should be in the long run, then the Pelicans will become a more dangerous team. He only averaged more than 4 assists per game last season, but if Van Gundy continues to use him more as a primary offensive initiator, the same way he's being used right now, then he'll be able to show more of his playmaking ability, which he showed flashes of in the past. While overall, I think if Ingram improves defensively, handles the ball more, and shoots more free throws, then he can make the All-NBA team as well. And so far, less than 10 games into the season, everything looks good as Ingram has put up career highs in all major statistical categories. And if both him and Zion become All-NBA selections, then it's not going to be hard for the Pelicans to be seen as legit contenders even in a stacked Western Conference. But overall, the Pelicans' young core still have to learn how to perform in the clutch for them to win more games. Last season, they were the league's worst team in terms of clutch statistics, but as of the moment, the Pelicans' young core have legitimate help and there should be no excuse for them to be able to hold up during crunch time. Eric Bledsoe has been blamed by people for the Bucks' problems in the playoffs because of his shooting inefficiencies, but at least this guy has been shooting 50% from deep in the clutch during the regular season for Milwaukee last year, and he also averaged per 36 numbers of 18.7 points in the clutch as well. Also, Steven Adams provides the rebounding and the rim protection that they need, but his hustle during crunch time is more than valuable, and if you look at it, Steven Adams shot 70% during clutch situations for OKC last season, and you'll never know when he'll be able to come up with a crucial rebound, a steal or a block, which can eventually help the Pels win close games. But overall, Stan Van Gundy is a win-now coach who has been known for his use of well-defined offensive roles for his players. Sure, the Pelicans are a young team that lacks experience as a whole, but with guys like JJ Redick, Bledsoe and Adams to stabilize their core, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball and the rest of their young guys should be able to adapt to winning sooner than later. While it's safe to say that the Pelicans have one of the brightest futures in the league, but if Zion and Ingram continue their developmental trajectory, then the future could be right now for New Orleans. Thank you for sticking until the end of the video, and please do smash the like button if you've enjoyed this video, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button for more fire NBA content which I put out regularly, and feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section as well. Again, this is Rero Balls and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.